From Dust to Diamonds. In the sun-baked slums of Nairobi, Kenya, where dust devils danced through narrow alleys and tin roofs rattled like angry ghosts in the rain, Amina Okello was born into a world that seemed designed to crush dreams. Her father, a street vendor selling roasted maize, died when she was 5, leaving her mother, Fatuma, to scrape by as a washerwoman for the wealthy in the city's gleaming high-rises. Their home was a single-room shack with dirt floors and walls patched with newspaper. Food was scarce. Some days, a handful of ugali was all they had. Amina, with her wide eyes and unyielding curiosity, learned early that survival meant ingenuity. At 6, she collected scrap metal from the dumps to sell, her small hands blistered, but her spirit fierce. "One day, Mama," she'd say, handing over her earnings, "we'll live in a house with lights that never flicker." School was a luxury, Fatuma insisted on. "Education is your ticket out," she'd tell Amina, sewing her a uniform from old fabrics. The local school was overcrowded, with 80 kids crammed into a classroom under a leaky roof. Teachers came and went, but Amina absorbed every lesson like a sponge. She borrowed books from a neighbor's son, reading by kerosene lamp until her eyes burned. At 10, she won a district math competition. Her prize? A used backpack. "You're smart, child," the judge said. But smart didn't fill bellies. When Fatuma fell ill with malaria, Amina dropped out for a year to work as a housemaid for a middle-class family. The lady of the house, Mrs. Kamau, noticed Amina's quick mind. "You should be in school," she said, sponsoring her return. Back in class, Amina doubled down. She studied under streetlights, memorizing English phrases from a tattered dictionary. "America," she whispered, dreaming of the land of opportunity she'd seen in faded magazines. At 14, a scholarship from a local NGO sent her to a better secondary school. There she excelled in science and math, her grades a beacon in the darkness. But poverty clawed back. Fatuma's health deteriorated and medical bills mounted. Amina took night jobs cleaning offices, her hands raw from bleach, her mind racing with equations even as she scrubbed. The turning point came at 16. A teacher, Mr. Ochieng, introduced her to an online coding platform. "Computers are the future," he said, lending her his old laptop. Amina dove in, teaching herself Python and Java through free tutorials. Code was her escape, a world where logic ruled, not luck. She built a simple app to track expenses for small vendors like her father once was. It won a National Youth Innovation Contest, earning her $500, enough for Fatuma's treatment and a passport. "Go further," Fatuma urged, her voice weak but firm. With the prize money, Amina applied for a U.S. visa lottery, her heart pounding as she submitted the form on a cybercafe computer. Months of waiting followed with doubt. "What if I lose?" she confided to Mr. Ochang. "Then try again," he replied. Luck struck. She won. But America wasn't free. She needed funds for the flight, proof of support. Amina crowdfunded online, sharing her story on social media. Donations trickled in from strangers moved by her resilience. A Kenyan-American businessman, touched by her app, sponsored her visa process. "You've got fire, kid," he emailed. At 18, Amina boarded a plane to New York, her belongings in a single bag, Fatuma's blessing echoing, "Make us proud." America was a shock. The bustling streets of Brooklyn, where she landed with a distant aunt, felt overwhelming. Her aunt's apartment was cramped, but it had electricity and running water. Luxuries. Amina enrolled in community college, her English accented but fluent from years of practice. She worked as a cashier at a bodega, her shifts ending at midnight, classes by day, homework by night. This is just the start, she'd tell herself, fighting homesickness. Her professors noticed her drive. In an accounting class, she impressed with a project on microfinance for African entrepreneurs. Professor Reyes pulled her aside. "You're talented. Aim higher." With his guidance, Amina transferred to NYU on a scholarship for underrepresented students. There, she majored in business and computer science, a dual path to her dreams. Summers were internships, unpaid at first, but she hustled, coding freelance apps for small businesses. At 20, inspiration struck. Seeing immigrants struggle with remittances, high fees eating into hard-earned money, Amina developed Afrelink, an app using blockchain for low-cost transfers. She built it in her dorm, skipping meals to save on data. This could change lives, she thought, testing it with friends back home. She entered a startup competition at NYU, her pitch polished from countless rehearsals. Afrelink isn't just an app, it's a bridge from poverty to possibility, she said to the judges. She won $50,000 seed funding. With the money, Amina quit her job, focusing on the app. She partnered with Kenyan banks, navigating bureaucracy via video calls. Fatuma, now healthier, tested the beta version. "It's working, Mama," Amina cried during a call. Launch day, September 2025, was nerve-wracking. Downloads surged, first hundreds, then thousands. Immigrants loved the low fees and security. Investors noticed. A venture capital firm in Silicon Valley offered $2 million. Amina moved to California, her app expanding to Africa and Latin America. Success snowballed. By 25, Afrelink was valued at $500 million with users in 50 countries. Amina became a billionaire on paper when it went public. Headlines screamed, "From Nairobi slums to Wall Street, the immigrant who rewrote finance." She bought a house for Fatuma in Nairobi, complete with caregivers. "You did it, baby," Fatuma said, hugging her during a visit. But Amina didn't forget her roots. She founded the Okello Foundation, funding education for slum kids. "Poverty is a cage," she'd say in TED Talks, "but effort is the key." At 30, she was the world's youngest self-made billionaire woman, her story inspiring millions. One evening in her San Francisco penthouse, overlooking the bay, Amina sipped tea, scrolling through messages from kids using her scholarships. "Thank you," one read. She smiled, remembering the dirt floors. Life's not a short story, she thought. It's an epic, written one effort at a time.